Good morning, students. Welcome to the second session of our webinar for today. So a while ago, you were introduced to the different concepts, principles, and processes of volunteerism. So in continuation, for this second session, I will be discussing to you the processes, the concept, the principles of community organizing. So we will be talking about the community and how we can organize the community, how can we help our community. So as we all know, this topic is very important or part of our curriculum in NSTP CWTS. Siguro if we are not in this pandemic, we are expected to go to our community for a field practice to extend help to our community people. So, hindi na natin patagalan. Let's go. For our objective for this session, we have first, we will define what is community. Ano nga ba yung ibig sabihin ng community? Lahat ba ng mga purok, sitio, barangay, pwede ba natin tawaging community? What are the different community situation? And the community aspiration. This is very important. I opted to include this in my discussion because we need to understand the different situation of the community and their hopes as a community, as a separate entity. Bakit nga ba importante na tayo ay mag-organisa ng isang community? Ano ba yung situation, different situation of the communities in the Philippines, and what is the need for, why there is a need for community organizers para tulungan itong ating community people. So, ito po yung isa sa mga session objectives. Then also, I'm going to define further the term community organization, the foundational ideas behind CO, and also the goals, the process, the models, and the role of a community organizer. So, after this session, ito po yung ating sana matutunan at maintindihan natin. So, let's start with the word community. What is community? So, etymologically, the word community came from an old French communite, and also from the Latin communitas, meaning a community or a public spirit. From Latin, also from a Latin word communis, meaning shared in common. But there is a two concept introduced by Roland Warren. A definition, ang sabi niya, a community is a group of people gathered together in a geographical area, may it be large or small, who have shared common interest, belief, resources, preferences, needs, and etc. So take note on the two highlighted phrases. First is a group of people gathered together in a geographical area. So a community daw is a group of people gathered in a specific geographical area. So this is the, according to Roland Warren, this is the geographical definition of a community. So for a community to exist, kailangan they should be in a specific area. They should share a geographical area. Next highlighted word, a common interest, belief, resources, preferences, and needs, or a shared common interest. So ito namang definition na to, this is what we call the functional definition of community according to Roland Warren. So this definition will tell us na for us to be called as a community, kailangan meron tayong common understanding, meron tayong shared interest. We share the same belief, resources, preferences. Because accordingly, kapag wala itong sharing or commonalities within the community, according to Arlene Johnson, a group of people in a geographical area without common interest is what we called aggregate. Aggregate lang siya, or in social work, this term implies that para siyang wala lang, it's a group of people that does not necessarily mean na kailangan sila mag-mingle or kailangan sila mag-share ng kanilang mga interest with one another. So that is coined term ni Arlene Johnson, an aggregate. A community is a small or large social unit, a group of people who has something in common, like norms, religion, values, or identity. So that is the definition kanina, the geographical and the functional definition. Community shared a sense of place, situated in a geographical area or in virtual space through communication platform. So ito pong ginagawa natin, virtual space like this. This is already a community. Although communities are small, like micro level, community may also be a large group of affiliations or macro level. So, ang community daw, it varies. There are small communities, medium, large communities, or what we call the micro, meso, and macro level of communities, depending on the dami, the size of the community people, not part of the community. What is organization? Organization, on the other hand, is the orderly arrangement of group efforts to provide unity of action in the pursuit of common interest. So there are three highlighted phrases here. First is arrangement of group efforts. That is basically organization. Unity of action and common interest. So yan po yung sinasabi nating community organization. So when we do community organization, we need to arrange this group. You need to unify our action, and we need to establish a common goal in the community. So yan po yung sinasabi nating community organization. So ito na yung sinasabi ko, what are the community situation? It is impossible for us to help a community without us understanding their situation. So this is what I'm saying, guys. Before we go sa communities natin or before we can help our communities, it is impossible na hindi natin alam yung kanilang situation. We need to dig deeper to the needs and problems that are existing in our communities. And for us to know that, we need to understand yung mga different aspects or mga systems na meron sa community. First, we need to understand the politics. Ano nga ba yung politika na meron tayo sa iba't ibang komunidad or in the Philippines as a whole? In the Philippines, we have this kind of politics wherein very rampant ang corruption. Remember the 15 billion PhilHealth corruption? Diba? Even our president before, very confident siya noong election campaign, telling us that kung bibigyan siya ng 3 to 6 months, he will end up corruption. But along the way, ngayong nalalapit na yung kanyang term, sinabi niya, it is impossible daw to end this type of corruption in the Philippines. Why? Because it became part of our culture. Corruption is embedded innate na daw dito sa pagiging Pilipino or sa political system na mayroon sa Pilipinas. Next, violence and war. Diba? This is also because of politics. You know, example of this is the 3 to 4 years ago, the Marawi siege. Ang daming mga tao ang nawala sa kanilang bahay, nawala ng hanap buhay. But even example of this is yung SAP 44 sa Maguindanao before. Then human rights violation. Every now and then, pag open mo ng TV, anong nababasa mo, anong nakikita mo? Yung mga EJKs, patayan, mga itinatapon sa ilog, mga panggagahasa. These are example of the politics na meron tayo. Paano natin nasabi this is connected to politics? This is somehow connected to politics because for us to have a stable community, we need to have a policies, mga leaders na talagang may political will to end this type of violence, corruption, and violations dito sa mga human rights na meron ng mga ordinaryong mamamayan. So next, we need to understand the culture in the Philippines or our way of life as Filipinos. So it's stated here that in the Philippines we have this type of feudal or the feudalism. And the idea of feudalism is that the majority or the vast land of the Philippines is owned by few. And that the majority of the Filipinos are landless. I know you've heard of the Hacienda Luisita before. and the battle between these Huangkos and their magsasaka. I am not so sure kung ano na ba yung resulta ng pakikipaglaban if it is already awarded to these mga magsasaka. I am not so sure, but this is an example of feudalism na kultura dito sa Pilipinas. Next, we have greed o pagiging gahaman. Gahaman sa kapangyarihan, gahaman sa mga resources. And when I think of a greed as a national issue, I cannot separate it to the politics. So, mga politika. Si Sir, lagi na lang politika. Why? It is true. Why? Because politics or ito mga politiko, they are the ones who are in the position. They are the ones who are crafting the policies. And sila yung gumagawa ng mga mandato. Sila yung mga nagpapatakbo sa ating bansa o sa ating mga communities. And sometimes there are policies that are self-serving, di ba? And example of this na greed, that is why I'm connecting it to politics, is the political dynasty. Maraming pamilya pa rin sa Pilipinas ang hanggang ngayon ay nasa posisyon not because marami silang natapos, but because of their family name. Diba? Hindi na ako magbabanggit ng mga examples. Next, poverty. The culture of poverty. The idea is that sa Pilipinas daw, minamana daw ang kahirapan. Before, kapag tanungin mo daw yung mga tao, bakit ka mahirap? Bakit hindi ka nakapag-aral? Ang sagot is that, kasi wala kaming pera, kasi ang nanay ko hindi rin kasi nakapagtapos. O bakit hindi nakapagtapos ang mga parents mo? And ang sasagot sa iyo is, kasi ang kanyang parents o si lola si lolo hindi rin nakapagtapos. At kapag tinanong mo naman yung mga lolo at lola nila, ang sasagot is that yung mga ancestors din ay hindi rin nakapagtapos. So yun yung sinasabi natin that in the Philippines minamana ang kahirapan. The culture of poverty. Yan yung sinasabi natin, culture of poverty. Next, we have fear, violence, war. Yan, marami yan sa atin or lalo na sa situation ngayon sa Pilipinas. The AG case na nabanggit ko kanina or the extrajudicial killings. These are all related to drugs. Diba? This is the drug war na dineclare ng ating government. And also the sexism, the prejudice, the stigma or stereotyping and discrimination against someone's gender. Especially ito sa mga kababaihan, that the females or yung girls, mga kababaihan natin, they cannot assume a parang bigger office kasi babae nga daw sila. There is a debate before that it is impossible daw na mamuno daw yung isang babae sa Pilipinas. Say for example, si Leni Robredo, because the girls daw, yung mga babae daw are more emotional and that kapag magpatakbo ka daw sa isang office o sa gobyerno, dapat hindi daw ginagamit yung iyong emotion, but more on being rational. Okay, next we have the economy. The economy in the Philippines, it is manifested by the inequalities. Marami pa rin mayayaman, yung mayaman, lalo pang yung mayaman, mga may hirap na mas lalong nasasadlak sa kahirapan. Concentration of wealth in the few. Yung mayaman nga lang din ang ilang mga pamilya. Massive poverty among the many, unemployment and underemployment, and landlessness. So ito yung itsura ng economy na meron tayo sa Pilipinas. And these are all contributory to the different problems na meron tayo that we need to answer in the community. And also, we need to understand the natural environment in our country or in the different communities in the Philippines. There is a massive destruction of forests, mountains, rivers, seas, pollution in the air, lack of clean water to drink, yung mga potable water natin hanggang ngayon, marami pa rin communities ang walang potable water. If you happen to watch Di Kapuso Mo Jessica Soho last Saturday or last Sunday, I mean, yung lola at age of 60, 70, and kailangan pa niya umakyat ng bundok at maglakbay para lang sa tubig na inumin nila. And ito yung mga dapat natin tinutulungan, that the government should see this, because every Filipinos, meron silang karapatan sa equal opportunities or equal services na binibigay ng government. And of course, the sanitation. Even as dito sa lugar namin dito sa Santa Cruz, problema pa rin namin yung sanitation. Kasi minsan, bihira lang dumating yung aming garbage truck. And some areas, sanitation, nanununog, sinusunog, and that is bawal. Sinusunog ang basura or inililibing ang mga plastics, and that is bawal. We have also the problem or the itsura ng ating social environment, poverty, hunger, disease, the COVID-19 disease in the Philippines, or ang daming mga Pilipino ang hindi nakontento sa response ng ating gobyerno dito sa COVID-19. Up until now, the few weeks ago, ang laki ng araw-araw na cases natin na itatalang cases sa Pilipinas, and this is very alarming. Then the unresponsive education, domination of over women, children, animals, etc. and war. So ito yung itsura, ito yung situation. These are the needs and the problems of some or certain communities in the Philippines that we need to address. We need to understand the community situation before we go to the field, before we extend our help. Kasi nga, kailangan ma-answer natin yung underlying problems or the deep or the root problem in the community. So next, let's have the community aspirations. So after knowing the different problems and the needs of the community, let us now know or understand the different aspirations, the dreams, and the hopes of our community. Ano nga ba sana yung itsura ng komunidad dito sa Pilipinas? Ano yung ating goal and objective? First, we have this goal that in the politics, the political system in the Philippines, there should be sana peace and order, justice, and strong institution. When you say strong institution, sana the government or the politics in a specific area could provide the needs or could implement yung rule of law na sinasabi natin. Next, the culture. Sa kultura, since we all know that in the Philippines, we are very diverse, ang daming kultura na meron tayo sa isang lugar, sana nagkaroon ng unity, cooperation, collaboration among different sectors, among different beliefs, norms, religion. There should be brotherhood, pagkakaisa, demokrasiya, at kalayaan. Yun yung ating hangad. These are our aspirations, our goal for this community. So in our economy, our goal is to have equality, to have sustainable cities and communities that are not dependent lang sa national government. There should be innovation, infrastructure, decent work, and income among sa kanyang mga mamamayan or sa mga tao sa community. So basically, the idea is that there should be an equal opportunities to all. Equal distribution of resources among the different communities sa Pilipinas. Kasi kung mapapansin natin sa Pilipinas, ano ba yung sentro ng kalakaran? 'Di ba yung mga cities like Manila or those that are part of the NCR, the Metro Manila, diba? Diyan talaga yung pinakasentro ng kalakaran. Kaya karamihan sa mga taga-probinsya pumupunta sa Manila para makipagsapalaran, diba? And sa Mindanao, we have Cebu, we have Cagayan de Oro. In Visayas, we have Cebu City. So Paano naman daw yung mga maliliit na municipalities in ibang cities? Case for example is in Lanao del Sur. Those municipalities in Lanao del Sur, instead na mag-move forward sila, they are moving backward. Remember that Lanao del Sur is the poorest province in the country. So, meron akong nabasa na sinasabing ang Lanao del Sur daw ang isa sa pinaka or pa-backward yung movement nila. Agusan del Sur is also one of the poorest province in our country. So, yun lang. There should be fair distribution of resources, equal opportunities to all. Yan yung sinasabi natin. So, in our social environment, our goal for our communities or sana there should be no poverty and no hunger. Wala sanang mamamayang Pilipino ang naghihirap at matutulog na gutom o walang laman ang kanilang sikmura. So the answer of our government here is the passing into law ng tinatawag nating the RA 11310, kung tama ba ako, the Pantawid Law or the Pantawid Pamilyang Pilipino Program of our government. So, isa na siyang ganap na batas ngayon. So, this is basically to end the intergenerational poverty cycle na sinasabi natin kanina. Ibig sabihin nito, through this law, inaasahan ng ating government na matatapos na yung matagal ng kahirapan ng mga Pilipino o yung minamanang kahirapan ng ating mga may hirap na pamilya. Next, our next objective is good health. Sana daw lahat ng mga mamamayang Pilipino or membro ng ating komunidad ay may access to quality and good healthcare system. So, it was also in 2019 noong napirmahan ata ng ating presidenteng si Duterte yung Universal Healthcare Law. So, in this, it provides good and quality access to health. But our problem here is, di ba, we have the PhilHealth issues. PhilHealth issue of 15 billion. Hanggang ngayon, hindi pa natin naririnig, wala na tayong mga balita kung ano nang nangyari dito. So, kailangan natin magtanong kung kumusta naman po yung 15 billion because this is our healthcare system. It concerns us. Nagbibigay tayo monthly. I know most of us, our parents, nagbibigay na mayroong tayong PhilHealth. So, somehow, we are part of it. This issue, part tayo nito. Then, the education. Meron din tayong free access to education in the different state universities and colleges, yung mga universidad na pag-aari ng gobyerno. So there is a free tuition fee dyan. Kung sa private ka naman, may support naman binibigay ang gobyerno through different scholarship. And sana there should be a gender equality. When we say gender equality, it does not only speaks about the LGBTQIA+++, but more on the equal footing of the male, female, and these other mga itong LGBTQIA+. Sana hindi hadlang ang gender ng isang tao para hindi siya maka-access na magandang opportunity para sa kanya. Say for example, yung mga kababaihan, hindi lang dapat nasa bahay lang. But sana magkaroon din ng opportunities para sa kanila para makapagtrabaho, magamit ang kanilang mga skills. Then, partnership in all levels. From the barangay, from the smallest unit of our political system, which is the barangay, up to the national government, sana magkaroon ng partnership in all levels. What do you mean by this? Nakasynchronize yung ating mga acts para sa pagtulong sa ating mga community. Next, in our natural environment, our goal is clean energy, clean water and sanitation, life below water, life on land. So, yan, marami na tayong mga efforts na nakikita usually dito sa mga DNR, sa mga non-government organizations. So, problema pa rin kasi talaga yung potable water. Karamihan sa mga far-flung areas o yung tinatawag nating GIDA areas. Ito yung mga karamihan dito, walang source of potable water. And remember that water is a primary primary na pangangailangan niya ng tao. Next, let us understand the basic foundational idea of CO. What do you think is the basic foundational idea of CO? Why we need to intervene in the problems and needs of these communities in the Philippines? Simply because of democracy. Because in the Philippines, we are a democratic country and we value democracy. So ano nga ba yung democracy na sinasabi na siyang ugat or pinaka-basic idea ng community organizing? Democracy is an organization or situation as defined in which everyone is treated equally and has equal rights. So take note on this, everyone is treated equally and has equal rights. So since we are a democratic country, we are expected, ang gobyerno natin is expected equal treatment and equal rights must be given to all its citizens. So yan yung sinasabi ng demokrasiya. Merong 4 na elemento itong demokrasiya. First is that a political system for choosing and replacing the government through fair and free election. The active participation of the people as citizens in politics and civic life. Number 3, protection of the human rights of all citizens. And number 4, a rule of law in which the laws and procedures apply equally to all citizens. So ito yung dapat nating tinitingnan. First daw, sinasabi dito is that the community people or the citizens of the Philippines has this freedom to choose kung sino yung kanilang pauupuin na mga mamumuno sa kanila by a free and fair elections. So, pwede nilang tanggalin, pwede nilang palitan kung hindi na nagagampanan ng mga nakaupong mga politiko yung kanilang sinumpaang tungkulin. Diba? And what is that? To equal treatment and equal rights to all. Yun yung sinasabi kasi ng demokrasiya. Next, active participation of the community people or the citizens in politics and civic life. Next, protection of human rights of all citizens. Kailangan maprotektahan daw ang lahat ng mga citizens ng Pilipinas, ang kanilang human rights. So, dapat walang patayan na nagaganap sa Pilipinas. Next, a rule of law in which the laws and procedures apply equally to all citizens. Sinasabi dito that the law should be equal to all. Hindi yung law ay pumapanig lang kung sino yung nasa current position or sino yung meron. Kundi dapat it applies to all. When we say free access to education, dapat lahat ng mga Pilipino merong access sa sa free and quality education. Hindi lang yung mga pili lang, kung sino lang yung malapit nga, yung malapit lang sa luwag. So, yan po yung sinasabi natin. So, if ever na makita natin, we need to see to it kasi that in the community, ito lahat ay nasusunod. That in the community or the community people can choose kung sino ang pwedeng maging leader ng kanilang barangay, ng kanilang purok, na mamumuno sa kanila. That the community people can exercise their political and civic rights. That the people in the community, kailangan masituit natin ang kanilang human rights ay hindi nalalabag at ang batas ay fair para sa kanila. So isa lang yung pagkukulang dito, there is a call or it is a call for community organizing. Yan yung sinasabing the very foundational idea of CO or community organizing is democracy. And when you talk about democracy, itong 4 na to. Okay? Next, let us talk about the different values. The different values of community organizing. First, community organizing, it is a commitment to democratic process and goals. So, community organizing is committed sa democratic process, yung sinasabi natin kanina, itong elemento ng demokrasiya. Kailangan sinusunod natin yung processes and the goals of democracy. CO is also a right of the client community to self-determination. When we say self-determination, what is this? It is the um, participation of the community people sa process ng kanilang pag-unlad. Because we cannot just go there sa community and we will enforce change. Okay? Sabi nga ng dati ng isang presidente sa US, sabi niya, in helping people, let us not, we will not give them fish. We will teach them how to fish. So, ganun yung self-determination na konsepto. Hindi lang tayo pupunta doon at tutulungan lang sila or ibibigay sa kanila yung kanilang mga needs or we will answer directly their problem. But we need to have their participation in the process, in the helping process. Yan yung sinasabing self-determination, the participation of the people. And kailangan mapunla sa kanilang isipan, sa kanilang mga puso that there is a need for them to act para masolusyonan yung kanilang problema. Next, one of the values of CO is the belief on the capacity of the people to change. Ito yung parang minsan in my 4 years teaching sa NSTP or CWTS, pag meron kaming before the pandemic, nagkakaroon talaga kami ng parang community immersion. 1 sem na community immersion. And yung mga napapansin ko is that yung mga karamihan is that parang nandoon lang and awang-awa sa situation ng mga ating community people. So that is a no. Hindi tayo dapat maawa sa kanila. Dapat ipakita natin sa kanila or alam natin, maniniwala tayo that these people have the capacity to change their situation. Na yes, ngayon ganyan lang sila because they are deprived, walang equal treatment sa kanila. But by the help ng mga community organizer or ng collaboration, partnership, networking, pwede silang magbago. So, yan yung isa sa mga belief or values ng ating community organizing. Next is the belief in the innate dignity of the individual in the community. What do you mean by belief in the innate dignity? Innate dignity that every individual has worth and dignity. Innate worth and dignity. Lahat daw ng tao sa community ay mayroong halaga at dignidad. At ang dignidad ay kahalagahan nila bilang tao ay espesyal because sa pagsilang pa lang nila, meron na silang dignidad at halaga bilang isang tao. Ang dignidad na ito ay ipinagkaloob ng Diyos. Innate ba? Hanggang mula sa kapanganakan nila, dala-dala nila yung dignidad na yun. And yun yung sinasabi that these people have this innate dignity na kailangan naniniwala tayo na lahat sila ay importante, lahat sila ay may dignidad, and we need to treat them with dignity and we need to show them that they are worthy. Diba? Next, values of CO is a commitment to seek social justice. Isa sa mga commitment natin sa community organizing, dapat pag pumupunta tayo sa baba is that ang idea natin is to give justice. Kailangan makamit ng mga community na to yung sinasabi nating social justice, equality and equity na sinasabi natin. So when we say equity or equality, it is the idea is equal or proportional distribution. Equity on the other hand is parang justice based on the needs of the client or justice based on the pangangailangan ng tao. So yun yung sinasabing equity. Next, let us discuss the different distinctive feature o mga kakaibang feature ng community organizing. First, community organizing is based on body of knowledge and principles. So, hindi po bago or hindi po putyo-putyo ang pagkandak ng community organizing because it is based on the knowledge and principles, theories based on the experiences, based on the different success stories, narratives of na mga authors natin sa community organizing, sa sociology, sa even anthropology, yan, may mga ano yan siya. It is based on knowledge. Meron tayong mga books, meron tayong steps in conducting community organizing. So, dapat po, when we do community organizing, we need to strictly follow the process. Kasi kung hindi tayo mag-follow, and we need to abide itong dinidiscuss ko ngayon, the values, the principles, the foundational idea, kailangan inaano natin yan, sinusunod natin yan sa pagkandak ng community organizing. Next, it is practiced by professionally trained community organizers. That is why ang CO since it is knowledge, it is based on knowledge and principles, kailangan pag-aralan mo yan. And kapag napag-aralan mo yan, katulad na ginagawa natin, you can now go to the field and you can now call yourself as trained community organizer. But hindi yan siya, sana mahaba tayong oras para pag-usapan natin ng punto per punto itong different processes, principles, knowledge-based ng community organizing. Next, analysis of the problem and the needs, the participation of the community or the self-determination na sinasabi natin, the planning and implementation of the plans, and evaluation and monitoring ito yung sinasabi natin na proseso ng community organizing, that we need to identify the problem and the needs of the community. Pag na-identify natin yan, there should be a participation of the community or the self-determination of the community. Then, kailangan natin mag-plan with the community people. To implement the plan, kailangan natin ng networking, collaboration, kailangan natin ng pakikipag-usap, referral to the different agencies, sectors na available dito sa community, in and outside doon sa community. Then, evaluation and monitoring of the different projects or mga activities or interventions na ibibigay natin sa community. Next, its goals and objectives are to empower the people to attain self-reliant and self-managed community. Ito yung maganda sa community organizing. Hindi kasi pwede, community organizing is different from outreach program because ang outreach program is pupunta ka lang doon just to give the immediate need or yung parang one-shot deal na tulong para sa kanila. Parang sort of dole out. Yun yung mga ganun. But in CO, our goal is to empower the community people para maging self-reliant sila or self-managed community para hindi na sila umasa doon sa ating sa tulong ng iba pa, ng ibang or ng ating national government. So, ibig sabihin nito, pag tinulungan natin sila, kaya nga kailangan ng kanilang active participation para pagtalikod natin, alam na nila yung gagawin nila. Diba? We will not we will not leave the community na hindi sila ready or hindi sila self-reliant. Yung hindi sila dependent, hindi lang sila dependent sa gobyerno natin. But they can also innovate. Innovation dito sa community. That they can stand on their own. That they can manage their own resources para sa kanilang community. Yan yung idea. Kailangan maituro natin yan sa kanila na hindi lahat ng problema ang solusyon ay ang gobyerno. Hindi. Meron kasing problema na nandito lang sa inyo, na kailangan nating i-facilitate, kailangan nating i-enable yung inyong mga skills. Kailangan ninyo ng collaboration, magkaisa. Kasi the idea is there is power in number. So, the more na maraming community people ang sasali, the more na magkaroon ng malaking impact ang inyong activity. Next, CO, next distinctive feature is that CO adheres to the concept of integrated and coordinated efforts with other sector of the community. Ito na yung sinabi ko kanina, that ang CO is naniniwala sa collaboration, sa networking, sa referral system na sinasabi. So, if mayroong problema in the community, it is impossible naman, maraming problema din kasi na hindi kayang solusyonan within the community. So, ang gagawin natin as a community organizer, we need to talk, to collaborate with other sector or the local government or the barangay, the barangay local government unit or the local government sa city or municipality. So, kailangan natin makipagtulungan sa kanila para matugunan itong pangangailangan ng ating mga communities, community people. So, yun po yung mga distinctive feature ng community organizing. So, what are the focus nga ba of CO? First, removal of blocks to growth. So, we conduct CO kasi we want these communities to grow. We will remove the barriers, the hindrances doon sa pagtubo ng mga communities. So, we will identify bakit nga ba mahirap umunlad ang community. Pag nakita natin the problems or their needs, kailangan natin tanggalin yung mga hadlang sa pagtubo. So, yan yung sinasabing removal of blocks to growth ng mga community. Also, the release of potentials in the individual groups and communities as a whole. Isa pang focus ng CO is to release the potential, meaning kakayahan, the skills, the knowledge, the potentials of every individual, every sector or groups or the community as a whole. Kailangan nating matrain sila para maging self-reliant. We remember that we believe that they have worth and dignity, and we believe that they want change. And we must also believe that they have their own innate strength. They have their own capacities and potential as individual, as a group, and as a community as a whole. So, yun yung gawin nating kapital. Yun, doon tayo magsa-start para matulungan itong ating community. So, this is one of the focus ng community organizing. Next, sa pang-focus ng CO is the development of the capacity of indigenous leaders to lead. So, in CO, we value our indigenous leaders or the local leaders in the community. Why? Because these are already leaders. They are there. Nandyan sila, naging leaders sila because the community people choose them. The community people decided na sila ang mag-lead, di ba? So, there is now respect sa kanila. Susundin sila ng mga community people. So, we will develop that. We will capacitate the local leaders or the indigenous leaders para maging more makatulong pa sila sa kanilang community. So, if there is no existing na mga leaders, we will make leaders. Diba? Remember, doon sa democracy, merong sa elemento ng democracy is the right to choose kung sino yung mamumuno sa kanila by fair and free election. So, pwede natin yung gawin if there are no existing leaders in the community. Pero, usually, meron talaga yan. Mga porok leaders, mga ganyan. And even yung mga leaders na, mga IP leaders in the community or sino yung itinuturing sa mga far-flung areas, sino yung mga community leaders na itinuturing nila na mga elders. Diba? Yan yung usually mga indigenous leaders. The next, developing the ability of different sectors in the community to function as an integrated whole. The idea, kaya nga tayo mayroong collaboration, networking, is to bring all efforts into one. Kasi naniniwala tayo na mas maganda ang epekto ng mga activities or ng ating interventions sa community kung ang different sectors magkakaisa at mag-act as one sa pagresolba ng mga problema ng community. So, we will identify the different sectors in the community. Sino yung pwede makatulong sa education? So, maybe merong mga yung kagawad in charge sa education. Pwede tayo makipag-collaborate. So, kung may problema naman nila, marami sa community ang walang trabaho. So, we will talk with the DOLE. Diba? Tapos may mga battered women, we will talk with the women sector. And then we will sit in one table and we will talk about these problems and deliberate natin. And we will act as one. So, yun yung beauty ng community organizing. More on collaboration and networking. Next, strengthening people's capacity for problem solving, decision making, and cooperation. Again, kung community organizer ka, you are only to facilitate. Ibig sabihin, ikaw lang yung magfa-facilitate ng mga activities based on the plans ng community people. So, hindi ikaw yung maglihok lahat. You will only help them para ma-solve yung kanilang problema. By your expert knowledge, professional skills, tutulungan lang natin sila. But definitely, they should be part of the problem solving, the decision making, and the cooperation. Kailangan ma-highlight natin yan siya. The full use of inner or indigenous resources before tapping the external resources. Ito yung sinasabi ko. As much as possible, sa community organizing, kung gagawa tayo or ma-assign tayo sa isang community, hindi na tayo aalis sa community natin para maghanap ng resources sa iba. Kunyari, may problema tayo, walang mga trabaho ang mga tatay doon. Wala silang trabaho and they want a work. So, bago tayo mag-tap or bago tayo maghanap ng trabaho outside the community, let us know kung ano yung resources available. So, siguro, within the community, maraming pwedeng pagkakitaan. So, doon muna tayo maghanap, mag-scout ng resources inside their community. Kung talagang wala tayong makitang resources, that's the time that we will go out, exert our effort na makipag-link sa other resources outside our community. So, that is also, we encourage that in CO. That kailangan, tingnan muna natin yung ating kapaligiran. Ano yung pwede nating mapakinabangan dito bago tayo humingi ng tulong sa labas. So, that is inner resources or indigenous resources before external. So, those are the focus of the CO. So, ngayon, siguro we are now na ipaliwanag ko na sa inyo yung the different values, distinctive features, and the focus of community organizing and the basic foundational idea of community organizing. So, let us now go to the processes. Paano nga ba ginagawa ang community organizing? Paano tayo pupunta sa baba? Paano tayo makikipagkilala? Paano tayo mag-build ng relationship sa kanila? First step in community organizing is entering the community o yung pagpasok sa community. Ito, very vital ito, very importante ito because, di ba meron tayong saying na the first impression usually, yan yung naglalast or tumatatak sa atin. So, kailangan sa pagpasok natin, kailangan maka-establish na tayo agad ng parang magandang example sa kanila na pwede natin silang matulungan. First, do your community map, then asset mapping. So, hindi tayo pupunta sa community na wala tayong dalang mga bala. Kailangan natin ng mga, these are available in the barangay, community map, or the spot map. Then, asset mapping. Ano nga ba remember that, yung internal resources ng community bago tayo lalabas outside. So, dito, we need to do the asset mapping. Ano nga ba yung mga asset? Ano nga ba yung mga resources inside the community? Kasi pwede natin yan mapakinabangan at pwede natin yan magamit along the way sa planning and sa implementation or sa mga activities natin. Next, establish rapport and relationship. Gather information about the situation in the community through ground working. Talk as many people as possible and document or record your conversation. When you say establish rapport and relationship, you need to talk with them. You need to build a strong relationship. Sa papaanong paraan? Do it by community immersion or ground working. You live with these people, you talk with these people, you need to feel these people. Kailangan doon tayo tumira or at least we spend our time sa kanila para makita natin, ay, gaano nga ba kahirap ang isang komunidad na walang ilaw. So, kailangan nandoon ka, makita natin, ay, we need to live or masaksihan kung, kung gaano kahirap mamuhay sa isang community na walang ilaw. So, that is building rapport and relationship or community immersion. So, groundworking is gathering information doon mismo sa lugar. And yun nga, by living with the people, talking to the people, talk to the people as many as possible. Kasi by hindi siya chismis it is different from chismis. This talk na sinasabi natin is gathering pertinent information or yung mga necessary information sa kanilang community. Say for example, you can attend their fiestas, and then you can observe and you can talk with the mothers, tapos magtanong-tanong ka, ano ba yung usually na mga traditions nila, or kahit dun sa sari-sari store, kapag may nakita kang umpukan doon na mga nag-sharing, nagchichismisan ng mga nanay, pwede kang makisali, and you must direct the conversation doon sa mga importanteng kaganapan sa kanilang pamumuhay. So, ganyan yung mga small talk na sinasabi or building rapport and relationship to the community. Attending church activities nila, yan. Attending festas, examples yan ng pag-build ng rapport. Next, avoid grand entrance and raise people's expectation when entering the community. Ito yung lagi nating nakakalimutan, yung grand entrance. Saka nakakapag-set tayo ng expectation sa mga community people. Minsan, pag may pumupunta doon, ay, nandito po kami para tulungan. So, that is wrong. Kasi, we will not make promises. We will not give them the false hope o yung huwad na mga pangako. Kailangan, we need to encourage them to participate, to be part of the process of community organizing. When you go there, kailangan wala kang mga gold diyan. Hindi ka mataray, hindi ka dapat magpakita ng angas. Kailangan grounded ka. You keep your feet on the ground. Kasi these people are in need of your help, and you don't need to establish na parang ikaw si Superman. Hindi ikaw si Superman. You cannot give lahat yung kanilang pangangailangan. As much as possible, be humble para maka-create ka ng rapport and good relationship with them. Mamaya, may abangan pa sila sa'yo. Or baka mamaya, dahil sa pagsuot-suot mo ng gold, doon ka pa snatchan. So, at stake pa yung buhay mo. Avoid, sa mga practicumers namin, sa aming course, we do not allow them to wear mga sexy dresses. Bawal yan. Because, diba, baka mamaya, mapagtripan ka, diba? So, we let them wear yung practicum uniform nila para ma-recognize sila that they are mga students. Okay? Next, pay courtesy call to the recognized leaders of the village. It is giving due respect to them. Of course, this is the first thing na gagawin natin. Courtesy call. Kailangan mo mag-courtesy call sa barangay captain and to the local leaders ng iyong piniling community. That is a respect na sinasabi sa kanila. And you need to elaborate the reason kung bakit ka nandoon. And ano yung mga pwede mong ma-share, ano yung mga goal and objective mo bilang isang community organizer. So that's number 1 step. Meron pa pala, sorry. Be prepared and do not bank on the residents for your needs. In community immersion kasi, minsan, based on the experience din na napansin ko, may mga community organizer that they use the resources of their neighbors. Minsan wala silang bigas, and doon pa sila makukuha ng bigas sa community. Or pag nakita nila yung manok ng kanilang mga kapitbahay, kung kunyari nag-immerse na sila, na call, lagi ng imong manok call. So, pa yan nila. Ipapaluto pa nila sa'yo. So, do not bank on the residents for your need, or wag mo silang gamitin para sa iyong mga pansariling pangangailangan. Kailangan yung relationship is also professional. And remember that these people are in need of your help. Hindi mo sila dapat gawing gatasan. Okay, I'm sorry for the word. Next step is integrating with the people. So, ito na yung sinasabi natin, parang you need now to integrate yourself with the people or the community people. The process is continuing conversations where through our participation in informal discussion, production activities, and social functions can lead us to do our preliminary mind mapping. Yeah, ito, remember kanina is asset mapping. Ngayon naman, ang gagawin natin dito is mind mapping. So, ito yung sinabi ko din kanina that we need to immerse with the community, live with the community people if possible, spend more time to talk with them, experience their life, their ways of living. Kailangan alam natin yan. The usual talk by attend, kung may mga nakikita mo na may mga sabungan doon, you go there and observe. May mga chismisan, umpukan, you go there, makipagkilala at you share, magtanong kung ano yung mga kakailanganin mong mga data. But it is not, hindi siya sa pamamaraan na parang, ate ganito. So, not very formal. Ano lang, informal discourse. Integration is a continuing process as it goes on. One realizes that people's problem and aspiration validates or become his own. So, by integration with the community, unti-unti mong napaparealize sa kanila that sila mismo na-realize nila that there is really a problem, acceptance of their situation, and that they can do something para dito sa kanilang problema. Diba? Next step, social analysis. The social analysis research becomes meaningful if it is used as an instrument of conscientization. So, ito yung sinasabi natin, di ba, you do your research. Paano ka nagre-research? Kumukuha ka ng mga primary data available in the local government or sa barangay. You do the barangay profiling, you nagre-require, hahanapin mo yung mga data na available, barangay profile, barangay demographic data, ano pa ba yung data sa health center, data sa school, yan, titingnan mo yan. Also by the result of your talk, your conversation with the people. So, yan yung research mo. And then, you will also, kailangan maano yan, there should be a conscientization. After mo makita, ito yung resulta ng yung research, you need to present it to them for conscientization. What do you mean by conscientization? The idea of conscientization is parang conscious raising. But we need to explain to these people that you have this existing problem. And what you need to do is we need to parang accept it. Talagang this is existing. We need to be aware na mayroong problema. And we need to accept itong ganitong problema. And tayo, na community people, ay kaya natin itong masolusyonan. So, yan yung sinasabing conscientization, the awareness of the situation, the current situation in the community. Conscientization is not only making them realize their issues, but also for them to act on it. So, conscious raising daw or conscientization is not only making them realize their issues, but also we will let them act or be part of it. Yan yung sinasabi natin, self-determination or their participation in the community or in the helping process na gagawin natin. So, it is important that the people can do something to change their situation for the better. Why? This is the idea din kanina na nasabi natin that once they accept their problem and they participate in the problem solving, pwede na natin silang iwanan. Kasi they can now, they are now, kumbaga pa, marunong na sila. They are now aware of their role or the existing problems sa kanilang community. Next steps, identify and develop leaders. Yan yung sinasabi natin kanina, that we need to identify the indigenous leaders. Sino ba yung mga leaders? Sino ba yung mga nire-respeto? Sino ba yung mga respetadong mga leaders sa community, the elders na nasa community na. So, we need to pay respect by courtesy call, and then if ever, kasi since they are the leaders, respetado na sila sa community, we need to develop them. Kasi, kumbaga, gamitin natin yun as an asset in the community. And let's develop the leadership skills within them. By, number 5, setting up an organization. We can develop them by setting up the organization. Kailangan yung maging leader sila by virtue of parang ipakilala. Tapos bigyan sila ng parang magkaroon tayo ng isang solid, isang organization. Kung pwedeng sa SEC or the social exchange or ano ba yung SEC? Yung SEC yung what is this? I forgot yung SEC. So, yun, kung pwede nating sa SEC yung organization natin para maging formal na. Then alliance building. After natin makapacitate itong mga local leaders, we need to build relationship. We need to build networks with other sectors or other key leaders naman doon sa ating community or outside our community. So, that is alliance building. Through networking, collaboration din. Yan, paulit-ulit lang yan ng mga words because these are the important words sa ating CO. Okay, so the community organization has 3 model. Ito, importante din ito. Isinama ko siya sa presentation because ang pagkakaalam lang natin, ang community organizing is when there is a problem na nag-exist, yung mga visible problems, it's already a community organizing. So, hindi natin alam, meron palang tatlong modelo ang community organizing. We have the first, the locality development, or what we call the CD, community development. Ang emphasis ng community development is the development of indigenous leaders, indigenous leadership, local initiative, self-help, and participation by large number of community people. So, idea nito, tutulungan natin yung mga community, yung isang community by spotting potential leaders, by developing, by capacitating their indigenous or their local leaders. And then, gagawa tayo within our organized group or organized organization, gagawa tayo ng mga initiatives para sa ating community. Then, the idea of self-help, that these people, or this community, kailangan matulungan nila yung sarili nila. Diba? Na kahit na umalis man tayo dito, hindi na sila maghihirap muli because they can now stand on their own. Sabi nga kanina, we will teach them how to teach. We will not give them the fish. That is the concept of self-help. Tulungan natin sila matutong mangisda, hindi bibigay lang kung ano yung kailangan nila. And participation of the large number of community members. Itong sinasabing participation of the large community members because we believe that there is power in number. In community organizing, the more na maraming community people na nagpa-participate sa ating efforts, sa ating helping process, the more na mas mayroong mas ma-achieve natin yung goal natin para sa community. So that is locality development or community development. Yan yung mga emphasis nila, the leadership, indigenous leadership, initiative, self-help, participation of the large number of community members. So next, meron pa tayong second model, which is the social planning. Ano naman yung pinagkaiba ni social planning sa locality development na karaniwan or nakasanayan nating itsura ng community organizing? So in social planning, the emphasis is the application of technical skills and expertise to the public problems. So, application of technical skills and expertise of the community organizer. Then, you act as a social planner. Social planners gather the facts, analyze situation, and use technical skills and plan and implement the program. So, sa social planning, for example, ito siya, the work is more on the community organizer. For example, there is an existing problem in the community. So, this problem ay hindi kayang solusyonan ng community people. For example, in a far-flung area sa pinakabukid, ang problema nila is education. Yung mga kabataan nila hindi nakakapag-aral ng basic education. Kasi wala silang mga schools. There is no physical building na nandoon para makater yung needs nila sa education. So, hindi ito pwedeng solusyonan ng community leaders. Pwede sila magpatayo ng mga barong-barong, but they cannot provide teachers. They cannot provide yung mga curriculum, di ba? So, ito na yung time na mag-shift tayo from community or locality development to social planning. The idea is that ikaw as a community organizer should do research, gather facts, analyze mo yung sitwasyon sa lugar, ano yung mga problema, ano yung mga pangangailangan, what is the need. Kailangan ma-justify mo yung urgent need na ito ng community people doon sa mga nasa position. So, geared by your resources, research, your proposal, ibigay mo yan sa mga leaders. Uupo ka ngayon with the DepEd. Sino ba? Pupunta ka sa DepEd, i-raise mo yung concern. Pupunta ka sa kay mayor and i-raise mo yung concern. You will use your technical skills and expertise para lang ma-encourage sila na there is a need na magkaroon tayo ng daycare center doon. Kasi kung bababa pa tong mga bata, mga 6 years old pababa pa ng bundok, talagang nahihirapan sila para lang makapag-aral. So, I think it's time, Mayor, it's time, Director, na magkaroon na tayo ang head office ng CSWDO kung daycare center. So, it's time na magkaroon na tayo ng daycare center doon sa taas. And, ano yung mga kakailangan nating resources? Ito po, kailangan natin mag-employ ng isang daycare worker or kung sa basic education, ng elementary teachers, mga ganyan. So, we will talk with the leaders para matugunan yung pangangailangan ng ating mga community people. So, that is social planning. Next, social action. Ano naman yung itsura? What is social action model of community organizing? Social action, the emphasis is on the disadvantaged segment of the population. And we need to organize this segment para magkaroon ng solution yung kanilang problema, para hindi na sila maging disadvantage, to make adequate demands on a larger community for increased resources or treatment in line with social justice and democracy. So, ito pong social action na to, ito yung nakikita natin sa mga TV nowadays, that there is mga rally, mayroong mga nagaganap na mga parang noise, yung parang kinakalampag ng mga tao yung gobyerno. So, ito yung social action na tinatawag doon. Iyon pala ay model ng community organizing. So, paano ito nangyayari? I will give you an example. Kunyari, sa isang community, kung saan yun ang ino-organize mo, nakita mo na ang pinaka-main problem of the community is yung leadership na mayroon doon sa specific area. Say for example, dito sa purok nila or sa barangay nila rather, is that hindi sila tinutulungan ng barangay. Kunwari, ang daming problema ng community, pero hindi nasusolusyonan kasi hindi supportive yung barangay nila. The barangay captain, kunwari, kaya hindi binibigay yung mga mga kapangangailangan nila is that hindi nila tao, hindi nila butante. So ang mangyayari, kailangan you do these are the disadvantaged segment of the population, or sila yung mga sila yung kumbaga pa hindi napapansin, disadvantage. So ang gagawin, they are the oppressed one. So, ang gagawin mo, kailangan i-empower mo ito sila. Kailangan i-conscientize mo sila, or yung conscious raising. Ipaliwanag mo sa kanila yung kanilang rights. Ano yung rights nila? Doon sa democracy na sinasabi natin sa 4 na elemento. That they have the right to choose kung sinong pauupuin nila by fair and free election. That they have the rights for political and civic life, yung mga ganong rights na yun, that they have the right na maprotektahan ng kanilang human rights, yung mga and yung social justice na sinasabi, a commitment to social justice or democracy. So, since hindi sila tinutulungan ng pinapawalang bahala lang sila ng kanilang local leaders or ng kanilang barangay, i-organize mo sila. And kailangan magkaroon kayo ng social action. Pupunta kayo doon at magwewelga. At sasabihin, idadaan mo siya, or kailangan marinig yung boses ng mga disadvantaged people. Yan yung idea ng social action. Kailangan silang marinig, kailangan silang mapakinggan, kailangan ma-address yung kanilang pangangailangan o kanilang mga needs or problems. So yun po, ito po yung 3 model ng community organizing. Hindi lang po pagbibigay ng material thing or pag-answer sa needs and problem nila by meetings or by talking with the community people. May mga problema din po kasi na out of the hand ng community people. And kailangan yung expertise ng community organizer para makipag-talk doon sa mga key leaders or mga political leaders sa kanilang community para ma-address yung kanilang pangangailangan. And sa social action, again, ulitin ko, the idea is this, kailangan nating i-empower ang community para maintindihan nila na there is an equal treatment dapat sa kanila. And if they think na hindi nila nakukuha yung para sa kanila, kailangan gumawa ng action. So, that is empowerment through conscientization or conscious raising. So next, I think this is the last topic, the community organizer roles. Ito yung mga, ano ba yung dapat na ginagampanan natin yung ating role bilang community organizer sa different models ng community organizing. First, in the locality development or the community development, kailangan we are the enabler. We enable the community to be self-reliant, to be a functional community. Coordinator. We coordinate with the different sectors. We coordinate with the key leaders. We coordinate with the political leaders. We coordinate with the community people. Yan yung coordinator na sinasabi. Teacher of problem-solving skills and ethical values. So, we do teaching. We also teach these community people on how to solve their own problems. Paano ba dapat i-confronta yung problema, paano ba dapat natin solusyonan, and the ethics or yung mga tamang pamamaraan para masolusyonan yung kanilang mga problema. Fact finder and analyst. So since you also gather data, you do your research, you're a fact gatherer and you analyze this data. A facilitator. Yung facilitator na sinasabi is you only help them, you facilitate the different activities, but you do not do all the works. You need to share the task with the community people. Advocacy planning or social planning, ikaw ay fact gatherer and analyst. An activist or advocate and a partisan. When you say fact gatherer, because you do your research bago ka pumunta doon sa mga political leaders or mga mga halal na politiko, kailangan mong may backup ka ng mga studies, or may backup ka ng community study na ginawa mo kung bakit kailangan tugunan yung pangangailangan nila. Then, an activist and advocate, you advocate kung ano yung, you advocate the needs, the problem of these people na kailangan masolusyonan. Partisan, when you say partisan, you are biased. May bias ka dito sa mga community people because you advocate you advocate doon sa kanilang rights, you advocate their needs, doon ka papanig sa kanila. Kaya sinabi, you are partisan. In social action, activist or advocate and partisan because nga you joined with these community people, you joined or you share the problem of these community people, you are a partisan in that sense. You advocate for their rights. You are a broker by means of a broker is somewhat a referral, agitator. You agitate these community people na kailangan mo silang i-ignite through conscious raising, pamatahin ba, kailangan mo silang ipaano sa katotohanan na ito yung nangyayari sa kanila and that they need to act as one group or community para marinig sila ng mga nasa position. Kasi kung isa lang magsasalita, hindi yan sila pakikinggan. So you need to agitate, ignite them, ipaliwanag sa kanila, kailangan kalampagin natin sila as a community para marinig tayo. Negotiator. We also act as a negotiator because we negotiate the problems of the community people doon sa mga nasa position. So yun po, that is everything in my discussion. So balikan ko lang ang ating goals or objectives for this second session. Ngayon, natapos natin yung definition of a community organizing. We were able to understand yung situation ng community sa Pilipinas by looking at the political, economic, yung sa social and natural environment natin, naintindihan natin yan. Yung mga hopes and dreams ng community or their aspiration, ano ba yung mga goals and objectives natin para sa mga community. The community organizing as a process ng pagtulong sa community people. The foundational idea of community is the democracy. We understand the basic elements ng democracy at yun yung nagiging basis natin para sa community organizing. The CO goals, yung distinctive features, the focus, the basic assumptions ng CEO, na-discuss na din natin yan kanina. The process from entry to the community up to the building alliances, yan yung mga process ng CEO, and the three models of CEO, the locality development, social action, and social planning, and the CO roles. Kalimutan natin yan. So that's all for my presentation. Thank you very much students, guys, sa pakikinig, and I hope to see you soon sa ating face-to-face. Sana matapos na tong pandemic para magkita naman tayo sa face-to-face. I know this kind of lecture is talagang nakakapagod. So, sana matapos na to and maano na tayo sa face-to-face. Stay safe, stay healthy, and thank you very much, guys. Have a good day.